Now at 6, an old Joplin Elementary School is coming down to prepare for the future.
And how new teachers are getting ready for the upcoming school year. I'm Fernanda Silva with the story.
Plus, the Joplin Police Department welcomes its 2 newest members to the force.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
As the beginning of the school year gets closer, districts in the area are gearing up, and hiring teachers is an essential part of that process. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. Carl Junction, for example, has hired 39 new teachers, and 2 other positions are still open. KOAM's Fernanda Silva spoke to 2 of those new hires, including one who knows the district well.
Lexi Miller attended schools in Carl Junction her whole life. In the fall, she will walk on the same highways she did as a student, but now as a teacher. A member of the class of 2018, she will now partner with teachers who she learned from.
Some of the teachers who were my teachers back then are still teaching there now, so it's really cool to be able to experience that with some of them.
Lexi will also go back to a familiar place, the volleyball court. The former athlete will now be coaching the freshman volleyball team.
I really want to bring in that a work ethic with my kids and start it when they're young, learning to love school, but then also love things outside of it and combine the work of being in a team and working together into the classroom as well.
We're always proud about how many of our own graduates come back and teach with us. So most are from this area and from our local colleges and universities.
In total, Carl Junction schools have more than 400 teachers who serve more than 3,200 students.
Across the state, people are seeing that there's a need for quality educators. Fortunately, I think we've been very fortunate in that we've had quality applicants to fill all of our positions.
Danielle Wilson will also join the team for the fall semester. She will be teaching early childhood special education, bringing her 12 years of experience working in a center for autism.
I was looking for something to be challenging for me, and a classroom of 17 kids is going to do just that, and I'm excited to get kids ready and work in a school setting to, again, get everyone ready for the rest of their lives.
In June, the new teachers went through a training. Well, for students, the school year doesn't start until August 21st. For new teachers, summer is going to be over sooner. They will be back to school in the second week of August.
So we train in everything from the simple things like logging into your email and our systems for attendance and grades and things like that, to specific classroom expectations, to our programs that might be more specific to grade level.
I expect just to help kids feel comfortable in the classroom, as well as love coming to school, just because that's whenever my love of school started, was right from the beginning, and so I want to instill that in kids as they come up now.
In Carl Junction, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
The hiring process for Carl Junction School started at the beginning of last semester. The new hires went through a training last month and will go back to school 2 weeks before the students. Out with the old and in with the new. Demolition is underway on Joplin's Columbia Elementary School. Columbia and West Central students combined to start classes in the new Dover Hill Elementary, which opened in January. Back in May, former students had the chance to take one last walk through Columbia Elementary and reminisce. You can see more of the demolition and read about the history of Columbia Elementary School on the KOAM News Now app. Some area middle school students dipped their toes into some science lessons. Thomas Jefferson Independent Day School is hosting their Summer Discovery Academy. It includes biology lessons, such as looking at bees, and a robotics class. The Summer Academy gives these kids an opportunity to get a jump start to the new school year.
She was not afraid.
Doing summer enrichment helps children when they get back into school in the fall. And there's so many talented students in this area that we want to offer something throughout the month of July where they can come and do that enrichment and be ready to go to school in the fall.
Some pre-K and kindergarten kids got in on the fun too. They went to a Young Scholars Academy and a Studio Art Academy, among other things. The Summer Discovery Academy continues through Friday. Joplin Police Department welcomed 2 new members to their team. They're a couple of dogs named Vice and Koa. The dogs' handlers gave live demonstrations to show how they're going to be used. Those demonstrations included apprehensions and narcotics searches. The dogs are also trained in building, clearing, tracking, and obedience.
A lot of fun, just training every day with them and kind of learning his quirks, because every single dog is different. You watch the other guys go in training and you start to see that they're all so different. It's just crazy how different they can be, and with Vice specifically, it's been a lot of fun building that relationship with him. And
the K-9s underwent a 6-week training process before being certified for police work. The dogs and their handlers will continue to train every week in order to maintain their skills. Boy, another scorcher out there. Let's check in with meteorologist Sam Lane.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been hot across the entire 4 states again today. It's going to be hotter tomorrow. Right now, radar is all clear. We had a few showers down in northwest Arkansas earlier, but those are now starting to dissipate. We're going to see temperatures dropping through the 90s into the 80s by this evening, 74 degrees for our morning low. And tomorrow's UV index, it's going to be way up there. In fact, it's going to be extreme, which means that only about 10 to 15 minutes before you start burning. So make sure you have the hat, the sunglasses, and the sunscreen, and be sure to also check on the elderly and make sure your pets have plenty of water if they are outside. And looking down the lane, we're going to have the heat in effect for tomorrow, so we have an alert day. Then we're going to go into an unsettled pattern with maybe, just maybe, a little bit of drought relief, and then that's going to be followed by a warming trend where the heat comes back. And of course, I'll tell you all about that in just a bit.
Catch in a few. The auction for the historic Reddings Mill Inn has been postponed. It was originally scheduled for today. The public is going to start to still have a chance to own a piece of this history. The auction will include several pieces of furniture and appliances, as well as that historic building. It's rescheduled now for July 18th at 10 a.m. at the Newton County Courthouse in Neosho. It's not exactly a garage sale because this isn't a sale. The Bright Futures organization is conducting its annual Garage Free in Carthage. They provide lots of clothes, shoes, coats, and some miscellaneous things, all free of charge to anyone who needs them.
Every year we are given an abundance amount of amazing things. And in order to get more amazing things every school year, we have to get rid of what we have. So the best way to do that is to clear it out, to make room for new stuff. So we just want to make sure that if we're being provided with items, that the community is getting those items.
The Garage Free event is at 8th and Grant in Carthage. It's wrapped up for today, but it resumes tomorrow and Thursday. It runs from 9 to 11 a.m. and 1 to 3 p.m. each day. Coming up, an update on the search for missing kids in an Oklahoma lake. Plus, Oklahoma offers a new way for people to register to vote. We're going to break it down for you. Authorities have recovered the bodies of 2 children from Lake Overholser near Oklahoma City. The body of the first child was recovered last night. The other was found early this morning. Police say there were 4 total boys at the lake fishing and celebrating a birthday. 2 of the boys decided to swim while the other 2 stayed on shore. One of the boys swimming lost his shoe, so all the boys went in to get it. That led to all of the boys getting swept away in the current. According to the 2 who were rescued, the other 2 children were 10 and 11 years old. A Missouri man enters a plea deal for the hit and run death of an Aurora man. That crash happened in rural Berry County, Missouri last year. Derek Coburn pleaded guilty to charges including first-degree involuntary manslaughter, leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death, and tampering with a motor vehicle. He's sentenced to 24 years in prison for those charges. The sentence runs concurrently with another case in Lawrence County. The victim in that crash, 38-year-old Patrick Anderson, was killed when Coburn's truck failed to yield and struck Anderson's motorcycle. A new online voter registration system launched in Oklahoma today. The system allows people to complete and submit a voter registration application electronically. Voters will have to submit their Oklahoma driver's license or state identification card during the application process. And of course, it must match their information. You can find a link to register to vote online through our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. A little later, a former Crowder Rough Rider finds himself in the MLB. We're going to tell you who in sports.
And we're going to tell you about the heat wave that's coming in, as well as rain chances for the next few days. We'll have all the details on that when we come back. Well, it was another hot one across the 4 states. Of course, it is July, and it's to be expected a little bit, but it's going to get really hot tomorrow as far as the heat index. Right now, let's take a look at Seneca, Missouri, the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. We had some clouds this morning, kept holding on through most of the morning, but then in the afternoon, they broke up and we're left with bright sunny skies, and that allowed temperatures to really heat up. And we're expecting a pretty nice evening shaping up across the area. We made it up to 95 today after starting out at 71. The normals are 90 and 70, so we were a little bit above normal today. And of course, we're way below normal on the rainfall, about 10 inches now so far just for 2023. We do have some storms on radar, but unfortunately they're way south of us in western Arkansas, where there's some flood watches in effect for southern Arkansas, and that's staying away from us. However, we do have some rain chances in our forecast, but first we have to get through the heat, including this evening. Right now we're in the mid-90s up to the north and west, like Iola with 94. Same thing in Chanute, 95 in Yates Center. A little bit cooler down to the south, where the clouds hung in a little bit longer. And when you factor in the dew points, it's making it feel a little bit more uncomfortable today than it was yesterday, with dew points in the 70s down to the south and 60s up towards the north. But tomorrow, when you factor in those dew points and the temperature, take a look at this. 115 in Fredonia, Independence, 113 in Oswego, around 110 in Joplin. That's what it's going to feel like tomorrow. And then as we go through Thursday, again, over 100 degrees in many locations with the heat and humidity combined. We do need some rain, and unfortunately for the next 24 hours, it's going to be on the low side. Then it starts picking up a little bit as we go towards tomorrow night late into early Thursday. And that's because we have these waves of energy that's dropping down in this northwesterly flow as the ridge builds to the west, and that puts us in a favorable pattern for seeing these thunderstorms developing in the evening hours and then moving across our area late at night and in the early morning. Now, the GFS model is forecasting some places could be getting close to 3 inches of rain, and that would be a godsend, but other places, not so much. And then if we look at the European model, it's a little bit less aggressive. It's not as excited about the rain chances. So hopefully some folks will get quite a bit. Others will probably not see a whole lot of rain, unfortunately. Storm chances are also going to be high tomorrow as far as severe weather goes, with the biggest threat being large hail and high winds. And again, the greatest threat of that is going to be up towards the north from about 4 o'clock in the evening to about 11 o'clock. So breaking it down, tonight mostly fair and mild with light and variable winds, lows in the 70s. And then as we go towards tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures right around 100 degrees with scattered thunderstorms developing. Some of these could be strong or severe. That rolls through. And then as we go into Thursday morning, lows in the 70s. And then Thursday afternoon, partly cloudy with isolated storms with highs in the mid-90s. And then Friday morning, yet more storms possible, especially in the morning hours down towards our south with lows in the 70s. Over the next 7 days, here's the look at the forecast. Alert day tomorrow due to the heat index. Then as we go into Thursday, there's a possible alert day. And then as we get towards the weekend, cooler, but we still have some storm chances in there. But then wouldn't you know it, right back into the furnace next week.
Of course, because we're never far from the furnace in July.
That's exactly right.
People need to keep an eye on their elderly neighbors tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Sam. Hey, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone. The best part is the price. It's absolutely free. It's available in the Apple App Store, Google Play Store. It's KOAM Skywatch weather app. John Dales joins us now. The Outlaws continue their long homestead.
Yeah, they certainly do. Joplin back at Joe Becker Stadium, hoping for a repeat of last night's result. Plus, the MLB draft wraps up today, and a local product heard his name called. More on that on the other side. The MLB draft concludes today after 3 days, 20 rounds, and 614 picks. Now, out of those 614, one in particular stands out to those in the 4 states area because just last year he was wearing a Crowder Rough Riders uniform. That's Cody Adcock, who is selected by the Cincinnati Reds this afternoon in the 13th round of the draft. You might remember he was part of a really strong Rough Riders pitching staff that featured himself and Jacob Mizorowski, who just pitched in the MLB All-Star Futures game this weekend as part of the Milwaukee Brewers organization. After his stint with Crowder, Adcock transferred to the University of Arkansas, where he improved his ERA down under 6 while facing SEC opponents. He continues the pipeline from Crowder College to Major League Baseball, becoming the 9th Rough Rider to get drafted in the past decade. Adcock does have another year of eligibility left, so he could return to Arkansas next year if he wants to. Busy day for the Cardinals and Royals as well. Nolan Arenado and Salvi Perez representing their respective squads in tonight's All-Star game. But this afternoon, the Cards and Royals each make 10 rounds of selections to round out their 2023 draft classes. Starting first with St. Louis, Redbirds begin the day by taking Dakota Harris out of Oklahoma. They'd later take another Big 12 shortstop in Trey Richardson from TCU, but the overwhelming theme here was position players. Out of 9 draft picks on your screen, 6 of them are position players. All of them are names to keep in mind for future generations of Cardinals teams. Meanwhile, the Royals go just about in the complete opposite direction. From rounds 12 to 17, Kansas City exclusively selects pitchers. Jared Dickey, who was taken right at the beginning of the 11th round, that's a name that most people didn't expect to fall until day 3. He batted .343 in 2 seasons with Tennessee and also has 2 years of college eligibility remaining. Over to local baseball, the Outlaws once again at home tonight at Joe Becker Stadium. Now, last night, Joplin's offense roared to life in the 4th inning to power past the Nevada Griffins and get a victory. Tonight, the Outlaws host Jefferson City, who's right behind them in the South Division standings. Needless to say, very important game with fewer than 2 weeks remaining in the regular season. Renegades just split a doubleheader last night. We'll have highlights of tonight's game at 10. Now, that Outlaws win last night, good news to a lot of the baseball fans in the area, but not all of them, because that means Nevada lost again. Now, that loss brings the Griffins to last place in the South, but still just 4 games back from the Outlaws in first. Tonight, Nevada is back at home hosting Clarinda. Tough draw because the A's have the 2nd best record in the league, which is also better than every single team in the South Division. Last meeting of the regular season between these 2 teams, and things get started at the top of the hour. We'll keep you updated on how things turn out tonight at 10. But bringing things back to the MLB draft, pretty special. You know, there's a lot of names get called, but having Crowder Rough Rider, another one get drafted.
Yeah, good for him. We'll see if he decides to go back to Arkansas, exactly, I guess, or into the MLB.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. The Jasper County Youth Fair kicks off today. We're going to check out some of the events. Plus, a new report shows a lot of students are still behind academically because of the pandemic. Those stories, a lot more, of course. It's coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Yes, it has been miserably hot in recent days. You need to be particularly aware that tomorrow could be dangerously hot.
That's right. And as a result, we have an alert day in effect for tomorrow with temperature of 100 degrees with the heat index well over 110. So definitely take it easy tomorrow. Possible alert day again on Thursday. And then at least we have some storm chances though. So that's only going to add to the humidity though, wouldn't you know it? And then as we head towards the weekend, a little bit cooler, but then the heat comes right back next week.
And final sports note.
Big game for the Outlaws tonight, like I was mentioning. They're in first place, playing Jeff City, who's in second place. A win tonight would give them a 3-game lead on the rest of the division.
Nice. Let's go Outlaws. We're going to leave you tonight with our Skyview drone look at a controlled burn in Cherokee County. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.